When national media networks ranked the Alabama Crimson Tide 6th in the SEC and former players publicly questioned Kalen DeBoer's championship mindset, rival fan bases celebrated the end of an empire. But inside the Malmore facility, that disrespect was met with icy silence. What television pundits interpreted as hesitation during SEC media days was actually the first step of a calculated move. A silent trap engineered by DeBoer and Ryan Grubb that has rival coordinators quietly recalculating their season plans. Before we dive deeper, subscribe to the channel right now and leave a comment below telling us where you are watching from. To understand the true scale of what is unfolding in Tuscaloosa today, you have to look past the televised soundbites and examine the cold, hard reporting published across national sports outlets like CBS Sports, ESPN, and ATOZ Sports. On the surface, the media paints a picture of a program in crisis, struggling to adapt to life after Nick Saban. They point to the official SEC preseason poll, where Alabama was pushed down to an unbelievable 6th place, gathering a mere 3 votes to win the conference title. But ask yourself this simple question: is a program with this much talent genuinely falling apart, or has the media completely misread the psychological posture of Kalen DeBoer? What if the narrative being fed to millions of college football fans on television is not just inaccurate, but actively hiding a calculated strategy designed to blindside the SEC? When you look closely at the timing of national broadcasts and internal team meetings, a striking pattern emerges that mainstream analysts completely overlooked. The spark that ignited this national firestorm occurred live during the 2026 SEC Media Days, when former Crimson Tide running back Damien Harris, speaking as an analyst for CBS Sports, openly blasted Kalen DeBoer's response regarding national championships. When pressed by reporters on whether his legacy at Alabama would be defined exclusively by national titles, DeBoer opted for a calm, process-oriented, pragmatic answer focused on daily execution rather than bombastic guarantees. Harris pulled no punches, stating publicly that if he were playing for DeBoer, he would demand a head coach who loudly promises trophies, adding that anything less than a national championship at Alabama is unacceptable. The mainstream press immediately seized upon this statement, framing DeBoer's calm demeanor as proof of an impending collapse. Publications across the country ran headlines questioning whether DeBoer possesses the ruthless edge required to maintain the Saban standard. But what if that interpretation is fundamentally flawed? What if DeBoer's refusal to feed the media circus was not a sign of hesitation, but rather a deliberate tactical maneuver designed to manipulate external expectations? How often do we see a top-tier coach intentionally surrender the spotlight just before unleashing a completely redesigned system? If you analyze the historical precedent of elite coaching maneuvers, playing the understated underdog is the fastest way to force opponents into a false sense of security. Consider the psychological landscape of modern college football in the NIL era. For 2 decades, Saban famously warned his players against consuming rat poison, the overwhelming media praise that leads to entitlement, complacency, and ultimate failure on the field. By giving a measured, unsensational response at the podium, DeBoer effectively starved the media of hype. He engineered a scenario where national networks like ESPN and CBS had no choice but to write off Alabama, effectively stripping the target off the Tide's back for the first time in nearly 20 years. But if the media is looking the wrong way, what is actually happening behind the closed doors of Tuscaloosa? While TV pundits were busy debating DeBoer's quotes, an entirely different narrative was being constructed within the football facility under the direction of new offensive line coach Adrian Klemm. Reports from local beat writers and practice insiders reveal that Alabama's coaching staff identified the primary point of failure from the previous season: a distinct loss of physical dominance in the trenches. Rather than chasing flashy skill position headlines to appease casual fans, DeBoer quietly authorized a massive, aggressive overhaul of the offensive line, securing a rotation of 16 scholarship linemen dedicated to restoring raw, unadulterated hostility at the line of scrimmage. Does a head coach who is feeling the pressure from national critics spend his entire off-season building a heavy, trench-focused running game? Or does he scramble to make headline-grabbing promises to save his job? The physical evidence points to a coaching staff that is supremely confident in its internal timeline. By hiring Adrian Klemm, DeBoer sent an unmistakable signal to the rest of the conference that Alabama is abandoning finesse in favor of brutal, suffocating power football. Yet because this work occurs away from the cameras, national analysts continue to evaluate the team based on outdated press conference clips. Why are analysts so quick to judge a program based on 30-second television soundbites while completely ignoring multi-million-dollar structural upgrades in the trenches? This brings us to the most guarded secret in the entire SEC, the high-stakes quarterback battle currently unfolding between redshirt freshman Austin Mack and true freshman phenom Keelon Russell. Outlets like the SEC Network and national recruitment portals have spent months speculating on who will take the first snap, warning that an unresolved quarterback competition in fall camp is a classic symptom of an unstable offense. But when you analyze how coordinator Ryan Grubb operates his scheme, a far more strategic picture begins to emerge. Why would Alabama rush to name a starting quarterback in July when keeping the decision secret forces every defensive coordinator on their schedule to waste valuable time preparing for two completely opposing offensive identities? Have you considered the overwhelming workload imposed on rival coaching staffs when they are forced to build two entirely different defensive game plans during fall camp? Austin Mack represents surgical system command, pocket presence, and a deep understanding of Grubb's complex passing progressions developed during their time together. Keelon Russell, on the other hand, provides explosive, dual-threat athleticism capable of breaking down elite SEC defenses on unscripted plays. By maintaining complete radio silence regarding the depth chart, DeBoer and Grubb have created a tactical dilemma for rival coaching staffs. When Georgia, Tennessee, or Auburn sit down to build their defensive game plans, they cannot prepare for a single style of play. They are forced to divide their practice reps to defend against two entirely different offensive dimensions. Is this genuine quarterback indecision, or is it a calculated weapon designed to keep the rest of the conference guessing? To fully appreciate the genius of this strategy, one must examine how rival fan bases and media outlets in Athens and Knoxville are reacting. Headlines out of Georgia show a fan base riding high on preseason praise, fully expecting Kirby Smart's squad to cruise through the conference after being voted the overwhelming favorite in the SEC poll. But history in college football teaches us a brutal lesson. The team crowned in July is rarely the team holding the trophy in January. By allowing Georgia, Texas, and Ohio State to absorb the suffocating pressure of national championship expectations, DeBoer has flipped the script, positioning Alabama as the dangerous, disrespect-fueled underdog, who benefits more when the lights go on in September. The team burdened by the weight of perfection, or the powerhouse that has been publicly insulted for 6 straight months. Can you imagine the level of intensity inside the locker room when players walk past media graphics, ranking them behind 5 conference rivals every single morning? Every critique broadcast by Damien Harris, every low ranking published by SEC journalists, and every doubt voiced by Paul Feinbaum is currently being pinned to the weight room walls in Tuscaloosa, Saban used to manufacture artificial disrespect to motivate his teams. DeBoer didn't have to manufacture anything because the national media handed him a mountain of pure, unadulterated fuel completely for free. Look closely at the timeline of events since SEC Media Days concluded. While national media outlets continue to rehash the same narrative about DeBoer's pressure, Alabama's recruiting momentum behind closed doors has remained remarkably resilient. Five-star prospects and elite trench talent are not backing away from Tuscaloosa. They are doubling down. Why? Because inside the meeting rooms, recruits are not being shown television sound bites. They are being shown the film, the NFL development track under Adrian Klemm, and the explosive offensive design crafted by Ryan Grubb. What happens when a national media consensus, built entirely on sound bites and preseason polls, collides with a physically re-engineered football team on the field? Have you noticed how quiet rival defensive coordinators have been regarding Alabama's new offensive line rotation? The disconnect between public perception and internal reality has never been wider. The press believes they witnessed a moment of vulnerability from Kalen DeBoer. They believed his quiet, steady tone was the mark of a coach yielding to the pressure of the Saban legacy. But as the fall camp gates lock and the Crimson Tide prepares to march into the season, rival coordinators are beginning to realize the terrifying truth. What if the media didn't catch Kalen DeBoer off guard, but rather walked straight into a trap that took 6 months to build? When the first kickoff lands and the Crimson Tide unveils an offense that looks nothing like the media's projections, who will be left scrambling for answers? Kalen DeBoer didn't lose control of the narrative. He surrendered it on purpose, using the media's own arrogance to build a quiet, lethal trap. The disrespect has been catalogued. The trenches have been fortified with 16 elite linemen, the quarterback room is operating under total operational security, and the rest of the SEC is walking directly into an ambush they never saw coming. Now, the floor belongs to Bama Nation and true college football analysts across the country. Did Damien Harris make a valid point about demanding public promises, or did Kalen DeBoer execute a masterclass in psychological warfare by letting the media write off the Crimson Tide? Do you want to see the system precision of Austin Mack or the explosive talent of Keelon Russell leading this offense in Week 1? Leave your detailed analysis in the comments below, because we want to hear exactly where you stand on this era of Alabama football. If you want the real story behind the headlines, the tactical analysis, the recruiting intelligence, and the raw truth that ESPN and CBS will never tell you, make sure to hit that subscribe button right now, turn on all notifications, and leave a like on this video. Share this with every Tide fan you know, and stay tuned to Alabama Stories for complete coverage all season long. Roll Tide!